Hi everybody. How's it going? Trying out my new time at 8 o'clock on Wednesday night. I hope that you're out there and that you want to tune in. I'll give everybody just a couple minutes to pop on live if they want to. So you can comment or join in if you want to, or type in some questions and then I can answer them for you if you like while we go through the live. So I absolutely love doing this, but I really want to say thank you for everybody who takes the time to be here watching. And if you hadn't had a chance to read what today's talk is about, we're going to do a stay-at-home mom, or SAHM, as I just recently learned, is the acronym for that, a finger down challenge. So if you're new to social media, or you're just, not as cool as me maybe, and I know all about the finger down challenge, just kidding. There's something out there called a finger down challenge. Hold on. And what it does is someone narrates out a list, and then you put your fingers down for all those that apply to you. And it's kind of fun and kind of interesting. And so I thought it would be fun for us to do it here. And sorry, I'm just going to go like that. There we go. I thought that it would be fun to do that here, just as a kind of a way to connect and maybe help you guys feel like you're not alone out there. All right, so I'm going to list more things than are going to fit on one or two hands. So you don't have to go ahead and hold up your hand unless you want to, or keep track and do all the things. All right, so put a finger down if becoming a parent was different than you thought it would be. Okay, that I should put all the fingers down for that. Becoming a parent was so incredibly different than I thought it was going to be. And that is actually the impetus for this business that I do now. And the life coaching, and the majority of my clients are mothers who maybe didn't feel as prepared once they got into the swing of parenthood. I know I wasn't. I was absolutely blindsided. I mean, I thought I had it all figured out. I mean, everybody does until they have kids, right? All right. So that being said, all the rest are going to follow in line with that. So put a finger down if you've done or said something that you swore you'd never do when you became a parent. That one goes down for me too, right? I'll never say that to my kids. You say that to your own parents. All right. So put a finger down if you've taken your children's actions to be a reflection of you and your parenting. Yeah, finger goes down for me on that one too. Put a finger down if you've ever cried yourself to sleep over your kids. And this can be any number of things. It could be that you were frustrated or sad or hurt, or you hurt them and you were disappointed and sad in yourself, or maybe they were unwell, or hurt or lonely, or you couldn't do anything for them. So put a finger down if you've ever cried yourself to sleep over your kids. All right. Put a finger down if you've ever had a call from a caregiver or teacher about your child's behavior. Yeah. A couple days ago, in fact. Was the principal, but that's a story for another time. Okay, so put a finger up if you've ever stayed up unreasonably late in a desperate attempt to get some alone time and then pay for it the next day. Yeah, finger down for me on that one. Put a finger down if you've ever been paralyzed by indecision. When it comes to parenting, everybody has an opinion. Everybody has a judgment, and the options are countless. So it is completely understandable that we would get overwhelmed at times and be paralyzed by the indecision. Kid in the candy store mentality. There's too many choices for me to pick. All right. Put a finger down if you have spent an unreasonably long time just watching your child be a child. The first thing that pops into my mind is babies, you know, when you just see them and they're sleeping and they're just making all those new sounds. But a few years ago, I remember my son was on the dock at the lake like this, laying on his belly, and he was just watching this tiny frog, and the frog was just watching him, and they just sat there for the longest time, and I found myself mesmerized by that. It's one of the best parts of being a parent. All right. So put a finger down if you've ever needed another parent to talk to about the hard stuff, but were too ashamed to bring it up. Finger down on that one for me too. It can be a scary place, reaching out to someone, maybe admitting that you're not this perfect parent that people seem to think you are, or that you want people to think you are, or that it's more difficult than you thought it would be. No one thinks it's easy. So if you're considering reaching out for help, just remember that. Put a finger down if you've ever gotten frustrated with your kid's behavior because it reminds you of you. This one happens to me on the daily. All right. Put a finger down if you've ever bribed your child into compliance. Yeah, this one happens to me mostly in public because I'm fearful of other people's judgments. All right. Put a finger down if you've ever set unrealistically high expectations for your children. I'm a recovering perfectionist, and nobody sets high expectations better than a perfectionist. And I know that I've done this. A lot of times I have to remind myself that my children aren't adults. They're not going to act like adults. They're not going to behave, have the thinking patterns as adults, and move through this world as adults when they've only been on the planet for 10 and 12 years. So, yes, I set unrealistically high expectations for my children sometimes. All right, put a finger down if you're also a step parent. Step parenting is not easy. I'm also a step parent, and that comes with its own encyclopedia of challenges and blessings. So if you're a step parent as well, put your finger down. All right. So put your finger down if you've ever disagreed with your partner on how to discipline your kids. Whew. Okay, there's a big one. I am lucky enough to say that I've disagreed with my spouse on how to parent our children, but never in front of them, which has been really great. And even then, I think I can only think of one or two times, but I can't remember the incidents. So not bragging, just telling you what it's like around here. So put a finger down if you were blown away the first time your child told you that they loved you unprovoked. That one gets me every time. You know, just, I love you, Mom. It's so innocent and so sweet and so genuine. And that was a really powerful moment for me. So definitely finger down for me on that one. So put a finger down if you have to share custody of your children, if you don't get to be with them all the time. I can't imagine how difficult that would be. I don't have to put a finger down for that one, but my heart is with you if you don't get to be with your kids all the time and you want to. Okay, so put a finger down if you've ever cried with pride over your child's accomplishments. Now, I'm proud of my kids all the time, but I'm not sure that I've cried. You go ahead and put your finger down if you have, though. Put a finger down if you've never posted a picture of your child on social media. We don't post pictures of our kids on social media, but I know there are some out there, and I might have been one of the people to do that. This one I'm super guilty of, actually, and it popped into my head just when I was coming up with this list. Put a finger down if you've ever denied your child a specific toy or game because you felt it was detrimental to their well-being. I didn't want my daughter to have a Barbie. I didn't want my son or my daughter to have gun toys. Looking back now, I can see that it's fine. But from that point of view, it wasn't fine back then. And I'm glad that I set that boundary for myself. And I'm glad that I realized that it wasn't as appropriate as I thought it was for my children. And I put this one in there because sometimes we make a decision as a parent and we think we need to just be hard and fast in that decision and never change it. That's pretty unrealistic. And it's also stressful. It can cause you suffering, right? If you want to change your mind about something, but you're not allowing yourself to change your mind about something, that's not a fun place to be. So my advice is always take a minute to just think about the why. All right, put a finger down if you've ever been late to pick your kids up from school or an activity. Yeah, finger down for me on that one. Put your finger down if you've ever called your child or children the wrong name. I have a younger brother and sister and an older sister as well, but I call my children my younger siblings' names all the time. I know. I never call them each other's names. I never call them their step siblings' name. But I call them my siblings' name. All right. So not counting COVID, put a finger down if you've ever homeschooled your children. I have not done this. I can't imagine doing this. It is overwhelming for me just to think about. So huge kudos to you if this is something that you've chosen to do. Put a finger down if you've ever traveled by air with your children. We have traveled with our children at all ages and stages of their life, with the exception of the last couple of years. And there's been some adventures, and we've been the parent of the crying kid. Never fun, but honestly, the only people on that plane who care is you and a bunch of jerks. No one else cares, right? They're like, oh my gosh, they feel bad for your baby is that unable to settle. They feel compassion for you in that moment when you're trying to get your baby to settle. Same thing at the mall. All right. So put a finger down if you've mastered the whisper yell. Movie theaters, malls, in front of other people, nighttime, you're holding a sleeping baby in your arms and you're whisper yelling at the other one. I have mastered the whisper yell. Put a finger down if you've ever run an errand without your kids and considered it a mini vacation. All the time. Costco, I have let several people go in front of me in line at Costco just so I didn't have to go home so soon. My husband's at home with the kids or they're at school. I'm taking a vacation in Costco, and I cannot wait for those samples to come back into real life. Put a finger down if you hide snacks and eat them in secret so that you don't have to share them with your kids. Definitely. My mom used to do this, and we used to find it and eat it anyway and then deny it later. Like, who else would it be? So, I don't know. I'm sure my kids will find mine soon enough. This one's a little heavier. Put a finger down if you've ever imagined what your life would be like if you had decided not to have children. This is something I can put my finger down on. Not because of regret at all. I've shared with you that I have a depressive disorder, and when I call it my dragon, and when that dragon comes around and the depression just sits down on me, I usually think about what it would be like not to have children, not for my sake, but for theirs. So that one's a little heavier than the others. And finally, put down a finger if you are parenting alone out there. I don't know what that's like. I can only imagine that it's exhausting and stressful. And if you're doing that, I hope that you have the support that you need around you. So that's the end of my list. But I want to make it clear that this is not some kind of survey that's laced with judgment. I bring up these points because they're things that I've experienced myself or that have been shared with me by my clients or by other parents. And when they're shared with me, there's this beautiful connection that the person sharing and myself both realize we're not alone in the world with that feeling. Not a lot of the stuff gets talked about in public, on social forums, and I want to change that. I want this to be the new normal. I want us to talk about stuff that's complicated and gross and sticky and make it normal so that people don't have to feel alone when they're going through it. So I'm really glad you're here today. So whatever feelings came up for you during that little finger down challenge, I want to let you know that it's completely normal to feel that way because there's no right or wrong way to feel in any situation. I tell my kids that all the time. A situation does not exist where you will feel the wrong thing. You might feel things that you don't enjoy feeling, but that doesn't make it wrong. That just makes it what's happening. And I know that that's a bold thing to say, but your feelings are only that. They're just what you feel about something in that moment. It's after feelings hit us that things can really go sideways in a hurry. I'm a yeller. I'll be the first one to admit it. I've got friends and neighbors and, family who will definitely vouch for me. I yell when I'm frustrated. I yell when I'm angry. Does this mean I yell every time I get frustrated or angry? Of course not. Does it mean that I'm all caring and understanding if I'm not yelling? Definitely not. Does it make me a bad parent? Does it make me a great parent? Nope. It just makes me a human parenting humans. Like you. Like your parents. So my intention with this exercise is to bring us together in a place where it's safe to be honest and learn that we're not alone stewing in our experiences or our feelings about them. We've got choices. And in that moment between feeling and acting, like we've discussed before, is where the power is. But if you're finding a hard time, if you're having a hard time finding that space between what you're feeling and how you're acting about your feelings, there are tools for that. Contact me, not a problem. I will just message you the how-to and we can have a phone conversation about it if you want. You just let me know. I'm happy to share that secret. If you're experiencing emotions that are too heavy or loud or exhausting to handle, you're not alone. You can reach out to a friend or a family member or a professional. And if you think you need to, but you're hesitating because it's difficult, I get it. It is difficult. It's hard to reach out. But asking for help doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. It means that there's something right with you. You're aware of what's going on and you want to make positive change, not just for you, but for your children. So having awareness that we're connected to others can help alleviate some of our suffering. And it's a hard pill to swallow, but if you reach out even one time to a safe person, it really could make all the difference for you moving forward. So if you or someone you know needs somebody to talk to, I'm definitely here. I'm not a counselor or medical professional, but I am a parent and a life coach who's gone through a lot of crap to get here. And I found solace in the understanding that nothing is black and white, nothing lasts forever, and nothing needs to be handled by me alone. So I'm really glad that you were able to join me here tonight. And for those who will end up watching later, thank you. I sincerely appreciate all your feedback and support that you've been showing me as I launch my seminar and coaching business. So please keep it up in your social shares and comments. And until next time, let's be honest and kind.